Welcome to the Glamper Camper Renovation Rejuvenation trailer. But I got that flower bed right there started. So that's a good start. I'm going to paint this down here. We won't paint it again. I had it painted once. But over a couple years, obviously with the snow and all that. Yeah, this carpet's been here for about 3 years and you can barely see it. But there's a little bit of green paint showing. I painted this like a spring green. This I'm getting rid of because it's rotten. I sat on that long enough. But I have to hold my tablet with 2 hands because I don't have it in the case. But as you can see, yeah, it's ready to go. That little stove, debating, I think I'll take that one out to camp. And I think that one would probably be the best one because you can cook on it and you can take the top off it. But as you see, the wood and all that stuff is gone around here. It's my Miss Piggy. But this one here, and I've got that little doohickey thingy that you can lift those off. Now, a friend gave this to me and it was on legs, but the legs snapped off. It's because she had it outside for a long time. Like, look down the end there. You can see that there's moss growing on it, right? But it does have a tiny crack in it, so it's a decommissioned stove. You can never put it in a house. That's not going to happen. But the whole top plate lifts off. If I could do this without wrecking myself. This whole plate lifts up. These all come out. And like I say, I got that little old-fashioned handle. So I think that would be good once I get my little fort all closed in with wood and whatnot. And then probably take some stones, brick all the way around it. Right? Like they do when they're building those little dugouts. I watch a lot of those too. Now I have that stove over there. It's got a smaller chimney flue, but it's pretty rotten. When I have a fire in it, I can actually see the flames through it, so that one's not really that safe. I keep my pots of water out here, so when I do have my fire, I've got emergency water right there. But right here, where am I at now? Sun's in my face. Right there. That was one spot that I had. And then here was another. All that's left right now is the stump. And I don't mean for this to be like a sad video or nothing. But right here is another one. This whole area that you see is boxed in. That was one of my dogs. I had a Great Pyrenees. And this is Chewy's resting place. Each stone and piece of pretty wood and the flowers represent, well, Tifa, my cat, and then there's Silver, and there was Star. Oh, I don't need to give you all the names. And then the current tree that Mr. Moon got me, so there's nobody under her. But I wanted them to, be surrounded by trees. And then when I come over here, this was my Shepherd, Husky, and Coyote cross. This is Cece. And she got a couple goldfish buried with her. And a couple goldfish buried over here. And a couple chipmunks and whatnot. But then this spot right here in front of my wheelbarrow with the dirt, that's another one of my chickens. Just want to get this stuff burned up so I don't have to carry it around, move it. So as soon as as soon as I can have another fire, I'm burning up. And at the base of the tree where that stone is, that piece of cinder block right there, this still, you can't really tell on camera, but it's a pretty hefty pile of dirt there still. So rake it all up, fill it all in, and I think this is where I'll plant the big rose bush. But see, when I said about my piggy stove, you see the tail on it? And on the back of this other stove, you can see moss. It's been sitting here a long time. I had it sitting on the blocks, but the blocks are slowly crumbling. So, but this is my pig stove. Out west, I had an old Mennonite fella make it for me. Unfortunately, he wasn't that good at spelling. So, it says Miss Pig Eye. But he took a Blaze King door. That's an expensive stove, Blaze King. Alright. You know, that's, you pay a lot for that. But he gave me that, he put that door on it, and he made it out of an old propane tank. It's got its little feet on it and everything, and the eyes and the nose. One of the ears got busted off, but I still have it. But just, I don't weld, so I can't figure out, how to put it back on. But I saved the ear in case I come across somebody who does. Like I say, this stove here, I think it's about the right size. It's low. It's pretty secure. Now, it's just a tiny crack in it, but it doesn't smoke or anything. Like, it's not smoking when you light it up. It's still pretty sound. And here's a wheelbarrow that got the rest of the wood in it, and some rocks and mushrooms. I had this out in the middle of the yard on a stump, and I had it all painted up, so I'm going to paint that up. And the same with that little metal thing there. It's upside down, but I flip it right side up on its stick, and you can put a candle in it. It looks pretty. That rock is actually made out of roofing shingles. It's hollow underneath, so that's also good. It's where I used to hide all my garbage that I had to burn, I didn't want blowing around the yard. Kindling and cardboard and newspaper and whatnot, right? So when I needed it, I just reach under there and it's dry. Now, this is something that pleases me. Even though you're looking at all this wood, one, I get all that wood. Two, I get that car hauler. And you can see it's pretty big. I think it's, I don't know, it's almost as long as the camper. I don't know how big that is. Starts at that little, right where that blue piece of tarp that you can see, that little white thing underneath. That's like for the lights. Then you go up to the red light, go over. But I used that to move. Had it all boxed in at one time. It looked like like the beginnings of a cabin on it. But it's still pretty big. Well, I get to have that for my very own. And I think I might build on top of that. Maybe for the animals or something, or put a cabin on it or something like that. Gets it up off the ground, right? And the tires I use as planters because they're great for when you're starting new trees. They keep the soil nice and warm. Up there's just compost in there. Just sawdust and bunny droppings and whatnot. Ain't nothing to look at, but sure is going to be something to clean up. And of course all these raspberry bushes, so. But it's time to get things cleaned up because it's starting to look like a junkyard. Which I don't mind, except I'm not making any money with this stuff, so there ain't no point in saving it. Here, let me show you here. So as you can see here in the front, down at the bottom, she rusted out pretty good. So when I shut it, I actually got to wrap a stick in tin foil and shove it in the front. Then there's this big gap here. But it's still safer burning, my bills, if you will, in this one than having them just blowing around on the ground, because, you might want to burn some old bank statements or something. You don't want them blowing around your yard, right? Somebody gets your information. And so, yeah, I've cleaned up quite a bit. I'll take this wheelbarrow off to the side, and the plastic, I just throw that in the truck, take it to the fort, take it out to camp. But it's starting to come along. But that's as much as I got done today. Now, to show you my shame, I already showed you the inside of the camper. But now, because I started pulling stuff out of something else. Whoops. We got a cooler in here. There's a bunch more stuff in here. I'm surprised this little diorama here didn't break. That was from a favorite fishing trip. Saved some sand, got the bobber, got a little lighthouse, all that. Well, I did come across that white pot there. That's one of the most piss pots. Back when Grandma and Grandpa and they didn't have the house toilet. That's what that is right there. That's a chamber pot. But I haven't done anything in here just yet. Everything's still where it was, with the exception of some more junk. Found a tin plate, enameled tin plate. And in that DeWalt case, I found a whole bunch of gloves. Check out that lamp right there. Isn't that cool? I'm going to fix that up, hang it from a tree, put candles in jars, and I'm going to hang that up at camp. I think that'll be fun. So the only thing I need to do right now is where I showed you where my old rowboat is. I'm going to put these planters there. It's dry, it just brushes off. This canoe, I want to clean it out again. Use it for a garden. So this is my overgrown frog pond. All the brambles are growing over. It's all raspberries. Up top is shallow. Then it's like a little water slide and it comes down deeper. Obviously it's full of leaves. But I get quite a few frogs that like to hang out in it. And you can see my giant finger again. You know. I'm not used to holding the tablet sideways, so. But there's lots of work. I gotta rake all this debris up. This is where the giant wood pile was when we got the logs that come in. Ooh, look at that, a rock. And there's I'm glad my fingernails were clean that day. But yeah, I'm just walking through, and that old canoe there, I'm going to turn, like I say, I'm going to turn it into a garden. But Mr. Moon took it out. The woman he bought it from said it was fine. Took it out before it had decent seats in it, and it started to fold up on him. So when he got it home, I took a steel pipe, piece of rebar, and I just drove about 15 holes in the side of it so that nobody would ever try to use it again, and turned it into basically my compost. Now behind there I've got one of those old antique push mowers, and I'm looking forward to cleaning that up. I've already used it before. It works great. And then there's the gas mower under the tarp. But the winters are hard here. I'll try to find a clip and show you just how much snow we actually get. So that's about all that I had going on. I was just breaking everything up, moving all the little piles, and so it's come a long way from where it was before. So even though it still looks messy as all get out, but it is coming. It's a work in progress, right? So, you know, I can only do a little bit at a time each day because I have so many other chores and that to do. So, but that's how far I got on the Glamper. Just like I say, you gotta start cleaning up the yard before you can start making a mess, because I need the room to pull stuff out of the camper, and I can't be tripping over things. So I'm just pointing out where I'm going to fence in that whole area and turn it all into, well, not really fence it in, but I want to turn it all into garden boxes. And the next door neighbor has offered me one of her rose bushes because it's taken over at her front porch. So I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'll plant some roses and stuff and just make it a nice place to hang out again. I will keep the pig stove. I love my pig stove. Thanks for watching. Keep your moonshine on. Bye.